Hey, Rob Brinded from robbrinded.com here. I'm going to do a quick video on how to use energetics, self-mastery when you're using or when you're practicing Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. So I'm just a lowly white belt. I'm loving it, but I wanted to share a quick experience I had today, which I think is going to help a lot of you who love rolling on the mat. I had a terrible day today. I've just come back from my session. Terrible because I was in so much pain throughout it. My left elbow started to ache. I've been getting a lot of sort of like, it feels like tenderness when I'm trying to overuse my power instead of technique. I have sore ribs from having someone jump on my ribs a lot. Sore fingers from grabbing the gi and everything. It was just one of those days where everything hurt and it was really affecting me. I couldn't think. Then I was getting down on myself and everything. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has days like that. And I couldn't really use my energetics while I was doing it because everything was happening so fast. Now I was just trying to keep going. But afterwards I was sitting on the train on the way back and my arm was aching. Everything was painful. I was really hurting. So I went to work with my energetics and cleared everything, so I have no pain now. Now I wanted to explain why and how I can do that. So firstly, we have the triad, which is body, mind and spirit. Now most people think that if you have physical pain, it's coming from the body, the physical. But in my experience of working with many my clinical experience working with many athletes, working in Chelsea Football Club, many different football clubs at high level, the mind and the spirit inputs painful experiences or painful thinking into the body, and that you will feel it in the body. So most people see the body, mind, spirit triad, or the Holy Trinity, or whatever you want to call it, and say, oh, this is woo-woo, this is rubbish. Even if Brazilian Jiu-jitsu people are very spiritual, some just go, well, no, it's physical, you just get on with it, you just get used to it. But what I wanted to do in this video is explain how the mind and the spirit can come in and affect the body. So how can the mind affect our body? Well, we have painful thoughts. Now, I first came across this experience when I was working at Chelsea Football Club. I noticed and correlated that players, when they were under pressure off the field, were more likely to have back pain and physical pain. And that was 14 years ago now. I've been looking at this incredible correlation now for 14 years, and still I find it fascinating. So what I noticed when I was at Chelsea Football Club and working with athletes and all types of sports people and business people is that when you have painful thoughts, say about finances or relationships, it's going to hurt you. So it's Valentine's Day, so everyone's experienced a broken heart. Well, I tell you what, emotional pain is worse than physical pain. So the mind, our thoughts affect our body, and they're painful and they hurt us. So that's the mind, and that's not too far not too woo-woo. But then if we move on to the spirit, how can the spirit affect us? And most of you be going, well, this is not scientific, this is rubbish, the world, everything's solid. But things aren't solid, everything's energy. So with the spirit, how can that affect us? Well, there's research that's coming out now that shows that if our ancestors experienced famine, it gets encoded into our genes and actually affects our pelvis size generations down. So that's actually affecting our physical body, our ancestors, their experiences, their painful experiences. But a recent study on mice is showing that if you and I posted this on my Facebook page if you want to have a look at it. So this mice study showed that when mice were given this scent, like a perfume, and they were given an electric shock at the same moment, of course they associated the smell with the electric shock and they ran away from it. But what they found was in 2 generations down, like in the grandchildren of these mice, were that when they were given this scent, it also created a painful experience for them. So what they found was that had been encoded in the sperm. So these mice their painful experiences get passed down through the generations, and their fears and phobias and anxieties. So this opens up a huge new scope to do with pain. And there's the spiritual side. It's our ancestors coming in, and it goes more in depth, but I'll keep it simple in this video. So the primary thing that was affecting my left elbow, when I looked for it, I sat on the tray and I said, okay, is this physical, what's going on with my elbow, or is it non-physical? And in my body I felt I was strong or weak. You're either strong or weak to things, and I felt the weakness was in the non-physical. So I have two options, mind or spirit. Spirit dropped for me, so I went and looked into it, and it came up that it was my ancestors' traumatic experiences to their arms that was being triggered when I was being put into like a traumatic experience when I was rolling, sparring and fighting, I suppose. So it almost triggered those experiences from my ancestors, and that was painful. I removed those triggers and that experience, and then my left elbow stopped hurting. So there were other things that were going on in my body, but step by step, logically, I removed them, and now I have no pain in my body. That's really useful for me, because I really love Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, but it's painful. So now I know that I can resolve that, and I can then focus on my positions and transitions. This is just an introduction to how you can use energetics with Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. Any questions, I'd love to hear from you underneath. Be great if you share this video so more people can realize that their physical issues might not be actually physical, and they can actually resolve them and do something about it, instead of going for surgery or going to the physio chiropractor and nothing working. So my name is Rob Brinded from robbrinded.com. I have a Facebook page, Rob Brinded, if you want to get in contact with me. And thank you very much, and speak to you soon.